time. Grammar and punctuation goes, are important, especially what's on screen. Because if it's spoken wrongly, at least it's a little bit understandable that it's not the person's first language, but what you see on the screen written must be accurate. And then they will also look at the design, the style. It has to be entertaining, it has to be, conversational style, but it must also reflect the real world. Let's go, I wanted to see if there's any comments there. As we continue, please, online people, this is also your last opportunity to be part of us. Maria Nina, I have a request. I understand that these syllabi were written by Niet. Yeah, maybe there should be some conversation at some point about the general objectives, if possible. I think it would be helpful. So when we look at this content, these outcomes, the most difficult part is over. Yeah. Are you going to sing again today? And are you going to do a push-up? I tell you, my whole body is sore because yesterday I'm doing this CrossFit now. CrossFit is like for people who are very serious. We are not so serious, but yeah. CrossFit is sort of a relatively new thing, but it's heavy. Oh, those guys that are there. Oh, shoo. Yeah, exercises. No, because my whole life, I'm more in ballet, but at the moment I have a problem at College of the Arts with availability of that room where we used to practice. So our family, have now decided that we will all go together. CrossFit. CrossFit, it's called CrossFit. Cross like a cross, double S, and fit, F-I-T. It's weights. I hate weights. So they go with the weights, I just do like this. But it's weights, and it's a bit of running, and there's like a little table thing. You have to jump up and step down, and jump up and step down. My whole body is like aching, yeah. So can we think up 3 scenarios that would go with this? Okay, so let's say, forget about this home garden area with a large tree, okay? For now. Mims is also telling me that there's a problem really with the cost of going out to film these. We were saying yesterday that it is best if the writer can also be the presenter. If you are the presenter, then you know that it will be, it will really add value if you can do your things, your introductions and your greetings at the scene. So if it's possible for you, see if you can go along with the team when they go to film, so that you can do these introductions and endings, so that you don't have to go, especially later, because then it adds to cost. Okay. So the lesson topic there was what? Reusing materials in design, something like that. So the textbook front page, I'm told that you are not everybody is using that textbook, but maybe you can have the front page of this Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, Namibia Senior Secondary Certificate, Design Technology Syllabus, so that people know exactly, okay, that's how it relates. Okay, So it's not the textbook front page, but the syllabus front page. Syllabus front page. Okay, so in terms of graphics and visuals. Okay, then you have the chapter name. No, you have the name of the program, something like that again. Okay. Okay. So they that's where Marsh them will also give you guidance in how to what is part of the Namcol way of doing it, so that we don't have to have a long introduction, as short as possible. So the lesson topic, that's what it was, and then okay, now you as the presenter, you're saying, hi there, I'm who from what, and warm Namibian welcome to all our advanced subsidiary level learners and everybody else interested in learning. We appreciate your company, something like that. In this video learning program, we are going to show you how to. How to. No, you're not going to show them how to reuse. How to reuse materials for design, let's say. Because you're not necessarily going to show them how to use those materials. In this video learning program, we are going to discuss the reuse. Discuss the reuse of materials for design. Okay? So are we together on how to take something from here is the lesson topic, this is how it is in the title, then this is how we describe it. So you will find this topic in your syllabus, point 1, not 1.1, but number. Topic, né? Topic 1.1. Um, 1.1. You'll find this topic in your syllabus 1.1 under the theme sustainable resources and design. Something like that. Okay. Now, then is the music and what? This is where, it is actually something that the people in the studio that are doing the sound and video editing will do. But we are putting it in here for you to, if you can, if you're thinking of something. What is this? What is the sound that we would connect to design and technology, and the use of renewable, the reuse of resources, and particularly, as we're saying, household things. If we're saying household things, what sound could you have there? Online, we are also wanting ideas because we are few now in here. So we are not wanting a chemistry lab. How about a recycle bag? Yeah? Recycle bag. Refuse bag. Recycle. A full. Okay, so if you have a full recycle refuse bag, those ones that are being put outside of the houses, and you pick that up and you shake it a little bit, what will you hear? You will hear bottles, paper, and because we are not yet at that stage where we have a separate bag for everything. So we just put everything in one bag and we think we're doing a good thing because we are recycling. So when we are shaking up that bag, we will hear some cans rattling, yeah, maybe some bottles, maybe a rustling of some paper, and some plastics and some maybe foil. Okay, so we could give an indication here in case there isn't it isn't obvious or something, containing plastic, for example. It doesn't mean that you have to go and collect all those, but you're talking about foil, about plastics, about glass and cans. Yeah, what else? Cans, yeah. Sorry? Bottles, yeah. Glass, okay. That's right. It can also be props. Okay. Okay, but yeah, let's talk about the difference here. Props is mainly what you have in the studio when you're filming. You want a glass of water here because you're going to refer to it, or you want examples of what, and what. Yeah. And the visuals to be filmed is probably you are going to have a scene where there must be a recycle bag filled in front of somebody's house, something like that. But those are the things that we are now thinking up. So in terms of, Tange, help us. What 3 scenarios, when you look, did I copy that now? When you look at your 3 outcomes, sorry? Oh yes, yeah, you were not here. Okay, so the outcomes, so this is where they are now saying, yeah, these the learners, so the music here, we were talking about here. So now you are introducing your topic. So you say many learners struggle with whatever. So we could probably say something like struggle to understand, okay? You can say, you're not saying, I promise you, you will understand. You're saying many people struggle to understand why it is important to conserve old or used materials, and so this video lesson walks you through the reasons why it is so important, and some of the many ways in which an old material can take on a brand new purpose. Something like that. If that sums up what you want to achieve. Okay? So, before you, so we have 3 learning outcomes. So this we can here confirm. We have 3 learning outcomes for this lesson, and they are to help you. Okay. So they are there. We can make them shorter, but for now, describe the importance. So to help you describe, you don't want, the learners don't want to describe. So you have to make it a little bit more accessible. But I want to go back to this sound before we continue. Can you think of, and can you suggest for them a funky way of introducing this lesson? In other words, what kind of sound or action can we have here to introduce this here? Now, as we say, you have your draft, then you stand back and you see, how will this sound? Okay, you had the presenter, you had the name showing and all that. Then you had the presenter going on saying, hi there, I'm Hu. A warm Namibian welcome to all our advanced subsidiary level learners and everybody else interested in learning. We appreciate your company. In this video learning program, we are going to discuss the reuse of materials for design. Okay? For design purposes. For design or in the design of new products. Okay? If that is the essence basically of what you want to teach. So you will find this topic in your syllabus, topic 1.1, under the theme Sustainable Resources and Design. Okay, so now you've given a lot of information and everybody now know what to expect from, not yet what to expect from, but they know this is whom it is meant for. You know what's coming. You are now going to state the problem and then you are going to go straight into the content. Can I have suggestions of interesting ways to start this lesson? In other words, we want now that hard, that funky thing, that interesting thing that's going to make the viewers sit up and listen. We can start with Tangi, because you have to put us on a thinking path, and then others can help to improve it, if possible. What is the question? The question is, now you are introducing your topic. This is the first time that we said when we talk about water, we want to show water. You are talking about recycling of materials. You have introduced your topic. People now know that it's going to be about materials. What is there that you can show?
It can be probably some bottles or some items that were thrown away, or let me say something that is throwing away the bottles, that you can be able to collect them and reuse them.
So you are talking about a picture of like some materials just there.
Or probably maybe somebody's throwing away the collection, like that box. We are having that box and there are a lot of empties. Maybe throwing them away, and you explain that many people or many learners, they don't know the importance of reusing the containers.
Okay, so yes, so your second idea is already much more lively than the first one. You could have something like somebody is about to throw their bottle away, then you have memes saying, oh no, don't throw it away. A lady in my church collects these for people who come a long way to church.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's actually, there you've got your lesson already, just by illustrating that. Okay. Or you could have a boy, you see? Thank you. So also, or just something lively, or you have a boy who's going to, who's just getting ready to, because that scenario you can very much use but you can use it also later in the program. So this here doesn't need to be a long thing. If you want to make it shorter, because you are actually just about to introduce the topic, you can just have a boy kicking a can or something, some simple something, but hopefully that has movement. So not just a shot there, movement and sound possible. And then if you could use children, animals, people, you know, the livelier that you can. So there you already have, thank you for guiding us on the way. So
what about showing recycling related to what they do? And if you're in a workshop and you have an empty mayonnaise bottle and all the nails and everything has been put in there instead of, you know, those type of containers, or the presenter having the sandwiches in a bottle holder or something like that.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
Yeah. That doesn't involve too many other people to be involved. Something speaks for itself.
So MIBS is starting now already to tell us, look at things that are not complicated to film and that are easy to get. So you make a list now of the different activities, because all of these become activities. That is really how simple it needs to be. It doesn't have to be so complicated as we maybe have made it sound. You can simply have a mother saying, where can I pack your sandwich? And the child is just running in and saying, can we use this boterbakkie or something? So it's just something real, something fast, something that people can identify with. So you can start by, so already now you have so many different ideas. Write up all these ideas for yourself somewhere there. Children playing with these things, somebody collecting them for this church situation, and we have the use of containers because they're made of plastic and it's very durable. So make a list of all those because you then use them in the activities. Okay, so it's important that you then make as long a list as you can of them so that you can pick and choose later on what is more practical and more entertaining.
I have another example more related to design and technology.
Okay.
What about, I'm into gardening now.
Yeah.
I take the Coke bottle, drink the Coke, finish, cut it in half, put in your, this is the things I see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe make a planter.
Plant into it.
Yeah, or cement, something you make a vase for yourself.
Yeah.
More now is about the design. So you have different sort of phases. It's more related to the recycling. Instead of go buying a mold, you use your plastic holder for a mold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Justine the Green is not now here to appreciate what we are doing now. But of course, we know there's different outcomes. And this, what we are discussing now, comes to the importance of recycling, sort of there. Because later you want to get to the products. So this is with your list of things to do. Me also, I saw something which I applied, and that is to use Coke bottles and that, the plastic bottles, the big ones, and then you make them full of holes, and you bury them in the garden, and that only the top sticks out, because apparently they can like spread a meter around. So if you have a patch of 5 meters, then you can maybe put 5 bottles in that area, and then you just fill up with the water and close again the top. Yeah, things like, it's a lot that we can learn from the Chinese and others that way. And so that list of everything that you like hear from your friends and everywhere else, and on YouTube and everywhere, that you can include in the right, under the right outcome. So we said, okay, so you have there, instead of this here, you don't need to, maybe you had music, I don't know, will you have music under the voice here, Marsh? In most cases you will. Okay, so here you will start, let's say music starts. Music starts, fades, something like this, and it is running while you're saying hi there and what. If you say hi there, it would make sense that they see a face to start with. Okay, so let's say you are in the studio. In this case, in studio, however, that's what I'm saying. If it's going to be, if you are going to go and you have to have a shot of a recycle bag outside the house, because that is what you are telling people to do. Don't throw this away, please recycle. So it is imperative, it is vital that you will have a recycle bag there. So you might, so in other words, somebody will go out and film it. If it's possible, you as the presenter, you can say this little bit there. Hi, I am this from this school, a warm Namibian welcome to da 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 da, as long as you can do it like out of your head like this. We appreciate your company. And then it can cut to the graphics, okay? So just try to imagine what is happening on the screen. Okay? So it's like this, cut to graphics. Now, and then you have all this showing. So yeah, try to do it alongside here. So you see, okay, this is, so there, the focus, the visuals are on the presenter. Then when it says cut to graphics, this has to be alongside that. Okay, so on the one side you have a picture of a person in studio or outside, on the others, and then it cut to graphics, so you have to show on the right side what graphics, what does it have to look like, what are the visuals that you want to run alongside this part of the script and the text. So you'll find this topic in what, so you show or provide the visual or something for the pre-editor for the video editor. So many, okay, so you're saying this is what we are going to discuss. You will find this topic where da-da-da. Now we come to here. The music maybe fades out or something, and this is now where you want your first scene or your, let's say your grabber, okay? So I'll call it the grabber. You will know what I mean, right? The grabber is now maybe the mother saying, where do I put your sandwich? No, here, Ma, just use this. And everybody can see clearly it's a butter container. How long does that take? 20 seconds max. So it must be sharp, it must be natural, that's the grabber. Then this causes now everybody to have to be interested in your program, and you continue. So that is what we mean, the grabber, okay? Then you can continue, you can have the visuals here. When we say show pain or problem, what we mean is, let's say, in this, what is the pain or the problem here? Maybe this is people littering, yeah? And what else do they do that's bad? The sea polluted. Yeah. And maybe these plastics on trees. Yeah. So you could just make a list like that. That is your list of visuals. So as you go put them there in the right thing. Otherwise you have to painfully go later and do it all. So this is the first thing that you're going to use. What do you want to film? You have your grabber scene. Okay? So you have to describe the grabber there. Okay? Everybody's fine with what, if we're saying the grabber. What happened to it? I lost my grabber. Where? I lost it? No. No. Where's the grabber? It was here. Right, here's the grabber. Okay, the grabber is an insert that you will do. So here is where you describe the grabber. Let's say the grabber is a mother calling out for a container to put the child's bread in, and child running to offer an empty butter container for it. Okay, so this is your grabber, say. So you have to indicate it also there. Grabber. Film the grabber. Okay. Visuals to be filmed, grabber. What's the grabber? Go through the text. That is it. Okay. So for that, the props you might need is a butter container. Okay. Empty butter container. Okay. All right, so you describe your grabber there. And then, so don't confuse it with writing alongside that. Wait. So you say, I go to the grabber. There you indicate your grabber. Then you go back to the presenter. And the presenter in this case now is the narrator. But it's not another person, it's the same person. Okay? Are you with me? Okay? So, you received another script? A video script. Well done. Okay. Okay, we received another script. That's her second one, right? Script from the first one. Okay, well done, Marianina. You are really doing well. Okay, then the narrator presenter is then continuing over other visuals. So, many learners struggle to understand why it's important to conserve old or used materials, and so this video lesson walks you through the reasons why it is so important and some of the things that we can do. So that is how you show these people. So remember that the visuals have to support what you are saying. So how do you show that people fail to understand why it's important? Because they simply pollute the sea, they litter on the ground, they do throw away the plastics, okay? So many people don't understand, and then you give those visuals. So yes, actually, I must admit, it is more involved. It is much more involved to do a video script, because you have to really think about every second that you put in there. How is it visually? How is it with the sound? And how do you show it? Many ways in which old material can take on a brand new purpose. And then you start to show there the success. When we are saying success, you don't keep it there success. You show now what is the success. Okay? So when we are saying in the template, show pain or problem, do you know what you need to do there? When it says pain or problem, you think about what you want to change. You want to change the fact that people don't know how to write speeches, or how to speak properly, or how to weld something, or how to, in this case, what's all the fuss with, and what is the problem with littering. And then you show the success. With success, I mean now specifically in your case, what is it that you can show? Tangi. You must keep actually a mic there with you. Where's that other mic? Because you need to speak a lot, you have to keep it here. Where's the other mic? Okay, Risto. Let me take it here from you. So what we want from you, Tangi, is to guide us as to, yes, so if the negative picture is people are littering, the sea is dirty, the trees are full of plastics, what do you want to see instead?
In most cases, most of the things
Is
that
it
are thrown at the dustbins. I would like to see something like
People sorting.
Yeah.
Maybe
Trying to sort out different materials in that area.
What do you call those, sorting bins or something? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Sorting bins, you have people sorting their recycle material. Let's say sorting their refuse. Okay. What else do you want to see? Because you have to come to, you are into design, so eventually you want to see, to show the end success.
Maybe some that are doing cleaning campaign in the street that are picking up the.
Even later than that. You can have a cleaning campaign instead of, in terms of visuals. But in terms of design, don't you want a woman sitting there weaving a basket? Yeah?
Yeah, it could be.
Women weaving or doing, what do you do with cans?
Yeah.
What items do you make with cans?
You can make an artwork.
Okay, weaving, artwork, and I was thinking they used to have this beer wine, like the Savannas, which they cut open, and then it's actually very nice glasses.
The same savanna bottle,
Yeah.
they put in sand and then it has layers, and then you can use it to decorate your house or something.
Okay, let's say decorations. They're nice bottles. And often I find it such a, I often think it's such a pity you have to throw those things away. Sydney.
I also saw people make candle holders out of those cans, the cool drink cans. Candle holders.
Out of cans?
Yeah.
Oh, how does
So
it
that's
work?
a recycling process as well.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right. So candle holders, decorations. Okay. So like for example. Yes, there it is. Yeah.
Some people also make drinking glasses from bottles.
Drinking glasses. Yeah,
Yes, from
that's what I
bottles.
meant. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So. All right. So some of those visuals, then of course, once you have made a nice list here, you put it up top for your camera person. Because this person will go out and he will provide all these visuals, and when he comes back, you can't expect him to go out again. Okay, because it all costs money. So this list must be complete. Okay, so things happen, it's true, but let's try to minimize having to go out when they've already gone out. Okay, right, now the challenge is now to keep it all on the same page. All right, so you've got your list there of what success may be. You will not necessarily use all of these visuals. You will throughout the program, but not necessarily all here. Now is where you are showing, maybe in the background you can have some of these visuals. If you can effectively put your outcomes here. This is now where you need a graphic. Graphic, and you list them here. But now is where the 6x6 rule comes in. Selwys, can you tell us what the 6x6 rule is, please?
Okay, well, a 6x6 row refers to 6 words in objectives.
In a line.
In a line, and 6 of them.
6 lines.
6 lines.
Can you tell me something about those lines? Something else? Is it just lines?
No, it's just not lines. There should be.
How do you indicate that it's separate points, actually, those lines?
We separate it to set dot, of course, and.
Okay, bullets.
Bullets, yes.
Yes, you put bullets.
Bullets, yes.
Okay, well done,
In a
thank you.
chronological order, I believe.
The what order?
Like to say.
Chronological, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah. In
thank you.
order of complexity.
Complexity, yes.
Yeah, of increasing complexity.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Did you say a coin also?
You've got the coin,
Yeah.
that's good.
Thank you.
All right, so the first outcome was then describe. So now, at this point, you should not have to worry about, is this right? Is this outcome right? That is why you need to put the thought, the thinking into all of this before you start on this script. The outcome is extremely important. The whole finalization of the outcome. So describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. Okay. Problem, it's 8, it needs to be 6. So that is where absolutely you don't need those. Okay? So they are to help you describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. So in your graphic, importance and basic concepts of conservation. Voila, I have 6. Okay. Discuss recycling as a basic conservation method. So obviously, recycling as a basic conservation method. Recycling as a basic conservation method. We're there. List, arrange, and remember you are talking. And this is where you provide the words for whoever is going to read it, who is not necessarily yourself. So yes, it helps to copy and paste, but remember that still you have to read it aloud to see how it flows. Okay? The rhythm and the flow is also important. So in this lesson, they are to help you describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. While you show it there, discuss. Okay, then put a comma because it has to be in the talking, in the reading. Discuss recycling as a basic conservation method, and list a range of common household products that can be recycled. Okay, so this now you can put in black writing because that is now to show that it is final, that is how it's going to be worded. The graphics, list a range that's to, okay, so common household products that can be recycled. Common household products to recycle.
Question from online.
Okay.
But yesterday we talked about the 6x6 rule.
Yeah.
Lynette, could you please show us how to apply that?
Okay. So this is what we are doing here now. Okay. This is how we apply it. Remember, remember that lesson that we had where it was, where you have in fact, here it will say graphic, but it's in green. Why? Because it is an instruction to the video editor. So you will say learning outcomes. Okay, so we are very lucky and blessed to have the technical know-how of those who can do those graphics. Yesterday we said you don't have to worry so much about designing the graphic, which used to be a thing that the writers had to do as well, but now you just write them correctly. How do we apply that? Here are your outcomes. They are you copy your learning outcomes directly straight from the top of the script before you started the editing script. This is where you got it, right? So you copy it into this place. From here, you read it to see how it flows. You also copy it on here on this side, and then you go back to this side. Now you read it out loud. Describe the important, these lesson objectives are to help you describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. Discuss recycling as a basic conservation method and list a range of common household products that can be recycled. let's get started. So you have to read it to yourself so you can hear that it makes sense. Now, going back to this side, how do we apply the 6x6 rule? You have copied that here. You make a heading that this is learning outcomes. Why? On the screen, you need to show them as being learning outcomes. And you have copied like we've done now. Maybe she posted the question before we have shown it. So they would have it by now. So you copy it here and you see that it's more. So you cut out until you've got, you've retained the meaning of that sentence, the essence of it, and cutting out unnecessary words. You've got it now. So you've said, let's get started. Now, there's a big space here, which need not be here. Okay, it was because we had this. So on the screen, you don't need the full stops. Okay, so guess what? The first scene is done. So a quarter of your work is done. Well done. Now, you have those three outcomes, and so you have to execute now. The first one will be describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. Which scenario will you use there? Tangi, this is where we need your input. And others can also help us online. So you are now wanting an activity, because everything comes, fleshes out the activities. Describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. So now you need to go, you go back to your objectives. It says, explain the concept of conservation and the terms finite supply. So these are things that you need here. The terms are finite supply, infinite supply, I think. Yeah, infinite supply, renewable energy sources. So I would start with that. Renewable energy sources and non-renewable, okay? Non-renewable energy sources. Okay, so this is the content where you took it from, so this is what you will discuss now. And then the basic concepts and then the importance. So you start with why it is important. Why is it important for us to conserve our natural resources? Okay, so in fact now you have to say what natural resources are before you can explain why we have to save it. Okay, so these are things that become now your content. Okay, so you start by saying, firstly, do you know what energy sources are? And maybe it's good if you have again here something to show, to introduce this scene. You go now, so now in this scene we focus only on the importance and basic concepts of conservation. You cannot show concepts very interestingly, but you can show the importance of conservation. What could be an activity where you show the importance of conservation? What does it all come to? Give me the ultimate reason why we have to conserve natural resources. Anybody? You need an activity. So you have to show why is it important to conserve natural resources. You need an activity to show that. So first you have to think, as we had the steps the other day. Firstly, what is it? Then, how do you explain it? And then, how do you make it alive? So let's start with the first. Why is it ultimately important to conserve natural resources? Give me something. Risto. Why is it important to conserve? Just give me a reason. Yeah. Oh, you're waiting for the mic. Thank you, Risto. At the bottom also? Okay.
Oh. So what we need to do now, we need a
We are going to
A
develop an
scenario.
activity.
activity.
So in order to do that, you have to think of the ultimate way that you can show why we have to save resources.
Okay. How about having a scenario whereby the kids or school kids are playing, and then it get a little bit hotter, and there's nothing to drink, no water, or there's no tree around because people were cut out, and all the water was misused, and everything is dried up. They're now sitting around wondering what's next, and in a hot, sunny day.
Okay, so what you want to show is people being thirsty because all the water has been wasted.
Yeah,
Wasted away.
there was no control measure, there was no recycling mechanism to reserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the water resources have been managed poorly or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Okay. So you are now focusing on water conservation.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, on water conservation. Now, how will be your scene if we go with that? How will be the scene? He is saying there's now these kids and they are sitting there and they are thirsty. How do you show that? You have maximum 20 seconds to show that. This is your activity. Your one activity to show this outcome. So you have to dig deeper, be more creative. Anna. The mic. Thank you.
I am thinking of maybe where we have people littering, throwing papers and plastic on the land.
Let's try to work with his example.
Wow. Okay.
In this case, water. On the other hand, if this is not going to help you, if you want to get to design, then you have to use another example. So the question is, could you effectively show the outcome of that one? What you have to show is this. What is conservation and why is it important? That's all you want to show now. Can you do that with his example of water scarcity? or not?
No, I can't remember with his example. I was having.
Okay, she's throwing out your example. Okay? Okay. No, you keep that. You are refunded. Okay, so you have a new scenario.
Yes, ma'am.
How does that go?
We have people littering, throwing papers and plastic on land, and then the animal, let me say the cows maybe, feed on that plastic, and which is not good for them to consume, and then they maybe die because they ate plastic and paper. Now there's people on that people that live there and that depend on the cow now have to suffer. They
Okay.
don't have.
Okay, I get it. There is what is the complication with that? It's true. It's a very strong picture. Well caught. It is a good. What is the problem? Are you wanting to say something? Okay.
I don't have an example or problem.
No.
What I wanted to say, just a caution. If we think about our examples, think about what is possible.
That is where I'm going. That is a very strong picture. But what are the chances that you go out with the camera and you find a cow eating plastic? That is the problem there. So, which means we have to rely on footage from the internet. If you absolutely have to use this example, fine. But if you can use something local, let her just finish the point, then I come to you, Florence.
Oh, okay. Is it a must that it's supposed to be a video, or can't one just collect different images to make up this whole scenario?
You have to give the best that you can. The best is a real life scenario. If it's not possible, give us your second best. Maybe you make a comic, cartoon, or you make an animation or something like that.
Or just pictures flowing to
Yes,
show
but
the
if you
story.
use pictures, then the picture is not so strong. It has to be, if possible, alive. But if it's not possible, let it be animated so that there is movement there. If you cannot animate it, then a picture, but it becomes weaker and weaker every time. You see what I mean? Okay. Florence, can you pass on for? Oh, she's got it.
But so, Lynette, I think whatever you put there, those that extra mile animation and everything, will it really add value, additional learning to what you want to share? It's just what I'm saying. You can go far, but you cannot apply all these things to every particular objective. Say, if you talk about the importance of conservation, then you need to see whatever life situation, the example you think about, it must aid to an increased understanding of the importance.
So I think.
Otherwise, there's no use of using it.
So I think the point you are making is that lives can be lost, and animals, that animal will die from that food because it's not food. Okay, so it is a strong picture. So if you cannot, if you cannot show that effectively, so you have these different options. Preferred option, you show the cow munching on plastic right there on the spot, okay? If you can get it on internet like that, great, because that's what you want to show. If you absolutely want to show that, then you go to animation if you can't find it, and maybe like on a picture or something, try to have it come alive. If you cannot effectively do that, then think as Mims is saying, is it absolutely necessary that it should be that picture? Or can you think of something else that would make the same point, which maybe is more practically possible? Okay.
Because now really, if it's hard for us to make live videos, and then the narrator needs to put in much more effort to explain the images we are going to use.
That is why we want to explain it with the visuals. You wanted still to say something, Florence? Okay, all right. Yeah, so it is hard. It is hard, but.
When we are doing this content editing and everything.
Yes.
Not I feel like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should always try to take that word out. I feel like this. It's not a matter of, that's how I felt when I put it there.
Yeah.
I thought it's taking some message across.
Yeah.
That's why I have put that picture, whatever, I came up with that idea.
Yeah.
But whenever it comes to advice, don't always use these words like I feel like. Advise me nicely, because I cannot put something just there for the sake of just putting it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
Exactly. No, it's true. Even you yourself, yesterday you said, not you yourself, but you know, as a group, many of you said, no, I was writing that, but when I came to narrating it, I changed my mind, or I found a better example by that time. We cannot keep changing it. So as soon as you have a better idea, and you've already submitted your scripts, speak to the PD as soon as possible, so that change can be made. But now, if you think up a better activity, also, please change it as soon as possible. It's better that it does not need to change once you have submitted. It's better if you commit to it. However, what is important is the product should be the best we can make it. So yes, that is why it is good that we have phone numbers there, so that I can, maybe I get to your program and I think of a better thing maybe. So that I can phone you to say, I see you've got this example here of this. Can we make it so that it's like this, maybe it's shorter to film, maybe it's easier, because maybe I think of a more practical way to show what you want to show, and then we can discuss it. Yeah. Okay, so that's why these phone numbers are very important. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, points of view change. So that is, and it also differs. So let's discuss. So in here, introduce the problem again. What did we say the problem was? The problem is our environment get destroyed and damaged, or first comes damage and then comes destroy. Gets damaged and destroyed by littering and by littering, polluting, and what is the other thing we showed? Littering, polluting, and misuse, let's say. Misuse of materials. then we can say it. People, so now you describe what littering is. People throw away items carelessly in the environment, and okay, oh yeah, that's the thing. We wanted to show that strong picture. So it's not a chemistry lab. You have the scene with cow in field, lean cow trying to munch on plastic bottle, on green plastic bottle, something, okay? Okay, so these are the visuals. So maybe here you have the cow trying to munch on the butt, what? And then you could make a comment like, what a sad picture. It's not a picture. In this case, the picture is abstract. Okay, what is sad picture? And then, but firstly, do you know what energy sources are? And then you, okay, no, that is what we can say. What is sad picture? Our environment gets destroyed by littering, and people litter and throw away and something like that. What is sad picture? Our environment gets damaged and destroyed by littering, polluting, and misuse of the material. People throw away items carelessly, etc., etc. But firstly, okay. Okay, so you give the content there, the consequences of littering. That's the pain, the problem we're talking about. It is the consequences of not recycling. Okay, you've got it? Then, but firstly, do you know what recycling is? What recycling is? Okay, then this is now where you explain recycling, and you have the explanation here. So this is where you have your 6x6 again. Recycling is a strap line or just a graphic. Okay, recycling is what? And then you have renewable resources. Up to that one, you explain them here. You are busy now explaining this outcome. And why is it important for us to conserve our natural resources? So have we even explained what natural resources are? What am I doing? Okay, so explain natural resources, and then explain recycling. Okay, so all of that you want to show on the side here as well. Okay. Okay, so it's not about this is now somebody else's script. This is the process. Okay. So maybe on the first day, if you've got 3 days, maybe on the first day you fill in all your activities. On the second day, maybe you do only your outcomes on the first day, and to put them in the script as well. Then maybe on the second day you put in all your activities, because a lot of thought has to go into that. And then on the third day you just put the other bits in. Okay, why is it important for us to conserve natural resources? Okay, so you put the graphics as well. Graphic. Why it is important to conserve natural. So you are not going to have this. You have the reasons. Reasons why it's important. So these are not the words that you are going to have there. You will have bullets that explain why it is important. Okay. If you can have an expert, then it's also good. But in this case, you have these people who have a passion about recycling. It would be good to have such a person there, maybe answering these, perhaps expert explaining. Okay. Because if you have an expert explaining why it's important, you don't even have to, you just show them the points that you have, and they will refer to all of them in a very knowledgeable way in a very short time. Okay. Okay, then you could go back to say, learners, now that you know more about the outcome 1, about why, now that you know more about what recycling, limited resources, and renewability of resources are, let's get to our next R, and why we have to conserve our resources. Ne? So you are reminding them now, you are repeating, because we know the more often we repeat something, the better they can remember. Learners, now that you know more about what recycling, limited resources, so you are taking your outcome 1 and you are rewording it now again. Are we seeing you again, Christoph? And why we have to conserve our resources, let's get to our next learning outcome, which is, and the next learning outcome was what? What was the next learning outcome? Do we still have it here? Help me, what was the next one? I have to go all the way up again. Discuss recycling as a basic conservation method. Okay, so we can say help me to say how are we going to explain this. By the way, this was scene 3. Learners, now that you know more about this, let's get to our next learning outcome, which is okay, which is so how do you explain that? How do you make it into English in easy language to say recycling, discussing this recycling as a basic conservation method? What is it that you're going to say. What is it that you're going to say? Your next learning outcome is how we can, what? Recycling as a basic conservation method. So you have to say now to them, let's get to the next learning outcome, which is?
Can we not just say, let's now look at, and then you give the next point? Do we have to say,
We don't
let's
have to
look
say.
at our next learning outcome?
What we are trying to provide is the signposting, so that people know this is our second learning outcome, and they know that we've got 3. So it is just a way to help the learners know where they are in the program. But of course, you don't do things every time the same. Another time you may not mention it. But the purpose of this would just be to provide those signposting for people.
Well, sometimes, sorry colleagues.
It's off-putting sometimes. No, I mean, to say this is now the second one, sometimes it puts off people, that's what I mean.
No. Sometimes, what I want to say, in my experience,
Yeah.
I want to explain certain concept, process.
Yeah.
And by discussing, I cannot do this discussion with mentioning all the aspects.
Yeah.
So although my objective is saying I need to talk about, what was the other thing that we talked about the other day? You don't in your objective say you will define.
Yeah.
But to be able to discuss this point, you'll have to look at the definition.
Yeah.
If you have an objective to decide, make a distinction, you will have to look at the different features for something, 2 separate things,
But you can
to be able to
describe
make
it.
a distinction.
Yeah.
So now, although in my discussion, if I provide the information, it can actually cover 2 objectives, and not that we have the one, now the content will just speak to, what I'm going to say is just going to speak to number 2, and another one is just going to speak to number 3. Because sometimes you cannot explain one thing without mentioning the other. So that's why I'm saying, is it really, I'm just asking, it's also just for guidance for everybody, because I know we will get to those points when you sit with your work. Is it necessary to really every time say, let's go to the next objective? Maybe just say, let's now look at, so I'm talking about this. This means this is why this and this is happening. So I've covered in one discussion, because I cannot separate the 2 things from one another. Some instances you can easily take it, this is now for this is now that, but sometimes you cannot do it. Especially if you have an economics lesson, for example, and you are there on that topic that I worked on, production possibility curve. Really, it's only one objective. But before you can understand or to be able to read the production possibility curve, you need to know what is opportunity cost. You need to know about the movements. So we cannot distinguish really to be able to draw it from looking at the movements. That is actually discussing your curve. So
Okay. But that is why it takes such specific effort to think about the learning outcomes. Because in the learning outcome, you are planning your lesson. That is where you say, okay, I will first, as you say, first discuss this, and then I can discuss this. So if it's going to be a hindrance that you say, now next we discuss this, fine, then don't do it. But it's sometimes helpful to say, on radio it is more helpful because all they have is the ear. They have to know more or less where we are. Okay, this is now the second one. I know there's 3. Yeah, but the logical flow is what is important. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah, so now that you know more about what recycling, limited resources, and renewability of resources are, and why we have to conserve resources, let's get to the next learning outcome, or let's now look at recycling as a basic conservation method. This is also a little bit formal to say as a basic conservation method. If your child is asking you, what do you mean looking at recycling as a basic conservation method? What will you say? Yeah. Imagine someone is asking you, a learner is asking you, what do you mean by looking at recycling as a basic conservation method? What will you say? I wish you were with me.
Concluding for me,
Yeah.
it will just be a concluding remark because of what I've
no, you
showed
have to.
up here.
No, you are introducing it, so you have to use something else to say. You've already said we will look at recycling as a basic conservation method. Now you want to say it a little bit differently so that people know what is it before you say why they have to know it. Okay, so if you say, okay, now we have, let's move on now. We will discuss at some recycling has to stay there as a word, but then you have as a basic conservation method. Now think about what is basic, what does it mean? What does conservation mean? And what is a method? Florence, do you have a suggestion?
How about we have learned at the end? Yeah, to summarize. About
objective, April.
Sorry, the objectives.
It's a new objective.
No, the objective is to look at conservation as a basic conservation method. Recycling.
Recycling is a basic. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to look at.
You have explained what recycling is, so you can say that again. But the others you have to change.
At the simplest way.
Yeah.
We're going to look at simplest way
of saying recycling as a basic conservation method.
Simplest way of using. Like I forgot. Well, I don't know what happened in between. I had some perfect thing to say.
Okay, the simplest way to.
The simplest way to conserve things through cycling.
Okay, can you give another word for conserving?
To like protect.
But saving is problematic because you save the whales.
To responsibly
To save the whales and the
take
dolphins.
care of nature or to protect our nature.
To protect. But you don't also need to protect these resources because they're not alive. No, are not.
It's about
You don't want to save them because they are not in trouble.
the simplest way to preserve.
Let me
make
try.
sure.
Okay, Selvis.
Okay.
Okay, but that's a good way. So what we get from you is
The most basic way,
the simplest way to We've got that?
Preserve or to take care or to maintain nature the way it should be.
And what we're talking about, recycle. Simplest way to recycle.
The simplest way to recycle, I don't know, best way. Best. I give up.
Let's see what he gives. Yeah?
Oh yeah. I would just like to build on his.
Okay. Yeah, you have to build. No, it's true. We have to build on that.
Okay, optionally, it's teamwork. Eh?
Okay.
Okay.
What we get from her is the simplest way to. You have to continue from there.
Okay, it's the simplest way to maintain.
To maintain what?
To maintain the resource. Okay, the reason why I'm saying to maintain is because anyway we can also not
Maintain
destroy
is
this
keep.
thing. Yeah.
But you don't want to keep those bottles. You want to do something else. Okay, so that is why I've already given her a coin. She said reuse. I just wanted to hear what Salvis is saying.
No,
Do you have something else?
not necessary. It's gone now. Eh?
It's okay, so let's now look at so you are introduced, you've already said we will look at basic methods for recycling, something like that. So now you are introducing it, you want to say it in a little bit other way, because last time when you said it, your learner was thinking, but I don't know what that means. Now you have explained already recycling. Now you are giving it to them in another way, more simpler way. So you are saying, and now we have already done those explanations. Now let's look at some ways, some easy ways to reuse products, everyday household products or something like that. Just any explanation that takes them from, from somewhere to some new thing. And that is where the terminology sometimes complicated. It has to be simple, but it has to be exact. It has to communicate exactly what you want to say. So that is why the save and the protect are complicated, because you don't want actually to protect all those cans lying there. You also don't want to save them. Yes, but exactly what is it that you want to conserve? The idea is to recycle products. But recycling is one way of conserving.
No.
But you want to get to recycling. So let's look at recycling as one way in which to reuse. Reuse and recycling is the same. Let's look at recycling as one way in which to not save, not protect, to look after our natural resources. Would that work? So sometimes you get stuck on on something and you just don't get further. Just keep on thinking about it, do something else, and then suddenly you get it. Okay. No, it's just part of the what is hard about script writing is just to make it simpler, but to retain the meaning.
Okay, colleagues, please don't bring another live video here. Throughout this, because I'm knowledgeable about this particular subject for me according to me. And I've listened to all the different life scenes and life things, examples that they wanted to give. So that for me, that's why I said for object number 3 is sort of like bringing what you have put up here into a summary and give them, because you showed them. So one example that she used the animals that can, if you throw things around. I would have said here is now for the presenter to bring together the fact of the limited resources.
But that is
right?
the reason why you have to conserve it. It's finite supply.
Yeah, no. So now you talk about those things. So basically, you have already, that's why I'm saying it will be a summary. We have shown what is recycling. We have shown that why is recycling a method. Because we have the limited resources, we have the non-renewable resources, and now you go to the theory for the learner to help them to bring what I've talked about here in scene 1.
But recycling is not yet in the first outcome.
But you've showed it with your videos and everything.
But we have not used that word. We have shown it was about concept of recycling and finite and what?
Yes, now listen with my idea. For me, to come to objective number 3, you've showcased to them in the first one, what is conservation or what is recycling terms. You've talked about and showing them the resources and the limitedness and the limitedness because of the non-renewability of resources.
But this is only outcome 2 now.
Okay, this is now scene 3. That is what you're doing.
No, it is scene 3, but it's outcome 2.
Okay, so now in the above, before that scene. So now we learn what is recycling, yes. You have talked about and show some real life things about the resources and everything.
Yeah.
So I would now come, because we talk about the sad picture and the things that's lying around and the littering and everything.
Yeah. So that's the reason why.
So now we come to the next objective. So for a learner to be able to relate what they have looked at in number 1, in the first scenes.
Yeah.
Recycling.
Yeah.
Why is it? So now I think the teacher as an expert will bring what I show in number 1 and number 2 to bring the learners, to show to the learners why recycling is seen as a form of conservation, a method of conservation.
That's right.
And so the live thing, now it's more to help the learners. Almost for me, like I give you fact number 1, I give you fact number 2, and now I want you to tell me, because of you learn about this, you learn about that, why is this?
Yeah.
For them to be able, so we bring them together.
Yeah.
Bring the things for them together.
Yeah.
So for me then, this one should, and then there's nothing wrong with that statement. I would just like to say, don't bring in another live video from outside.
But it is your outcome too. Okay, I see what you mean. You're saying don't use another cow or something. Yeah. No, we're not. We are saying let's look at recycling as one way in which to look after our. Okay, so we cannot say look again. Let's discuss recycling as one way in which to look after our natural resources. So this has nothing to do with those cows or anything. This is particularly focused now on recycling as a way of conserving natural resources. So the content that you have in your syllabus is what? The concept, the sources of energy, methods for natural resources, conservation methods, how natural resources are conserved and destroyed, draw up conclusion, advantages and disadvantages. So it's ways of using recycling. So in this here, yes, of conservation. We have just redefined conservation. We said conservation is looking after our natural resources. Yeah. So now the content that she has to give us has to be recycling. How does recycling work? As a way, so help us there, Tangi. Tell us how recycling is a way of conserving natural resources. Have you got the mic? One mic? It's hard stuff, it's hard. But we have only 20 minutes more. Then after lunch we are going to finish up.
By recycling the natural resources in the environment, it helps to improve the environment around.
Yes, we've already, okay, so it helps to improve the environment. Helps to improve, how does it improve the environment?
By keeping the environment clean or?
By keeping it clean.
Helps with decorating the area if you're having some bottles that you need to use for artwork.
Artists and what do you call somebody who's and craftspeople can use ordinary household
To make
items.
it attractive as well. To
Sorry?
attract tourists. To make the environment attractive.
Yeah.
That will bring more tourists to come view or come see the environment.
Artists and craftspeople can use ordinary household items to make items to make useful and useful items and items for decoration. Sorry? Artifacts. Then you could start artifacts, because now you have explained what items for decoration. Artifacts may include That's where you had your list there. Drinking bottles that can have a new life as drinking glasses, etc. Okay? So this is now where you discuss recycling as you can get more info there. Okay? And if you can have an expert. Okay? Then, sorry?
If you want something to light it up the presentation, you can have a replay of those light scenes or images that you have put.
Yeah.
Then there you bring, so and then it will bring the work together for the learner to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what's nice with video. Let's say you had cans being littered or bottles being littered or people breaking bottles or whatever, and you have here you show maybe the drinking glasses that were made from the bottles. You could have even a thing of merging those glasses back into this is the better way. Yeah. So rather than that bad thing of breaking the bottles and throwing them, it can be merged into, what if this was rather what they did? Okay. Okay, so that can be done there, and then it's good if there is an expert. Then we can briefly look at, so this, we would not need here because you're discussing it in that scene. So this would be your scene. I think we are now with scene 5. Yep, lead learners, we can see why recycling is important to our daily life. Okay, so that's all you need to see. You're just saying this is what we now dealt with, recycling. Okay, now let's look at the final outcome for this lesson. Which is, can you remember what that was? List a range of common household items. Okay. Which is identifying some of those items that can be used in recycling. Okay, then you could maybe say glass, cans, plastics, paper. Okay, this is not how you are going to have it in your script, but this is how you're going to have it maybe on this side. Okay, so that this is your outcome 3. So at the end of this outcome, you could have glass, you have examples of glass, you also have the products. Okay, so this is where you discuss, there's this glass and there's this glass, maybe it's from plates, maybe it's from drinking bottles, it's from drinking glasses, different types of glass, and this is what you could make of them, and these are the cans. So this is where definitely where you would go to a place where they, like a workshop, a crafts market. But will you be able to bring all those items to the studio to show? Whereas you can just go to craft market to show them. But everything is there.
Lynette, also maybe also just caution, we are going on AS level and not introducing new concepts and stuff. It's AS. It's very high. It's not for no more for grade 10. It's on AS level. So the amount of depth to go into basic theory, AS is more on application.
Okay. It is according to your...
something just coming up.
Yeah.
Because it sounds to me now going too much into detail. Of course, it depends on your content that you need to put in there. I don't know what the content is. It depends on the content what you need to have. So also just for the writers to content writers to continuously, as Lynette has cautioned us from the first day, always think about the target. who, the end user, who do you work, for what level are you developing? And that's when you look at how you're going to present the content. What does the level require? And round about that, you base your life or your what do you call it, the additional visuals and what you want to do.
Yeah.
That we had, the meeting we had this morning with NBC for the colleagues, if they give us, if we work on a 30 minutes, what do you call it now? Timeline? They would expect the video to cover 26 minutes. Now, listen, with our broadcast.
Could you just say that again, if we were?
In 30 minutes time slot, they will work towards Namcol to provide them with more or less 26 minutes worth of content. If it's an hour, about 52 minutes. We will caution again, videos, it must be minimum 15 minutes. Okay?
Maximum 15.
No, minimum, because we can go to 26.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But we will not do the whole 26. We can bring in some, if we don't cover, but we can go at least to 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Because remember, before and after, if this takes about a half hour, so basically they're slotting, they're providing a half hour for Namcol, and then they will find adverts before and after. That's why
half an hour, they take 4 minutes for adverts talking about this is the Ministry for Education Namcol radio lesson videos for grade 9 subject. They will say something like that, and even afterwards and so on.
Yeah.
Then you have 26 minutes to pull.
Yeah.
So you work towards, colleagues, minimum 15 minutes script. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you are responsible for this 15 minutes, and the rest is the tops and the bottoms and the sounds and things that would also come in there. Okay. So you are saying goodbye. Viewers, thanks for watching this lesson, our lesson today. I hope it's made you feel confident about, now you don't need to feel confident about recycling, so you just make it more acceptable according to your topic. Yeah. So I hope it has given you better understanding. I hope it has given you a better understanding about the importance of recycling and some of the ways. Yeah, sorry. Oh, you want to say the. And, okay, that's good actually. I hope it has given you a better understanding about the importance of recycling and cycling as a way of conserving natural resources. Okay, so you are basically listing again your stated lesson and the overall objective. Let's say, okay, natural resources. We have seen we have seen that okay, now you come back to your learning objectives. Pair of scissors. So you come back again with your objective of your learning outcomes, but this is where you will flesh them out a little bit. Not a little bit, but you give now your summary. Here. Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay, we have seen that of course we are just using this to help us, right? So we have seen that we started with the terms, right? We have seen that conservation is, or what did we start with? Natural resources are the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources is finite use means whereas infinite use would have been. Yeah, that was it. And then it is important to look after. Excuse me? That's what we're doing. Yeah, the importance. Yeah, but what will the assessment expect of them? Will they be expected to define these? Because it is in the learning outcome. The learning outcome says you have to explain the terms and the importance. These are the terms. No, in the outcomes, we remember we have only 6 words for it.
Yeah,
So we
what I mean is the 3 outcomes, Lynette, although the syllabus say you must define,
yeah.
but the 3 outcomes that we has now put here on this lesson
Yeah.
does not include examples. It comes of the importance or basic concepts, the importance and basic concepts. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yes. So that is why I say the basic concepts. So you say, we have seen that natural resources are the difference between renewable and non-renewable, because you have to define renewable, and yeah, those are the terms that you need to know. It's too elementary, but again, it depends on your content. But this is the content in her syllabus. Is it grade what? Grade 10? It is for design technology.
then I would have divided the video objective, that learning objective in the syllabus, I would have divided into two learning outcomes in the video. First about the basic concepts and then about the importance. As Lynette is now doing it here, can you see in your summary?
Yeah.
Then the first objective should not have been one, it should have been two.
The problem with that is that causes there then to be 4 learning outcomes, meaning 4 scenarios, 4 scenes kind of. You did say you can combine them, and this is how you have combined them. So actually, in many ways, what I'm seeing is it would be a program by program thing, and maybe it would there would be variety in that. But as a general guideline, you basically have those outcomes which you put here, and then you remember what your content was. Finite use means what? It's important to look after our environment because we have a responsibility to keep it clean and safe. Yeah, something like that. Then we had discussed recycling as a basic conservation method. What was the content there? We have seen that glass, paper, plastic, and what? Glass, paper, plastic, and there were 4. That's glass. Glass, paper, plastic, and I'm sure we had 4. Tangi, help us. And something can be okay, so we want the 4th one. The main things that are, so we have seen that glass, paper, plastic, and something can be recycled. Remember we had 4. Okay, let's go back and see. Cans, glass, cans. So what is cans? Yeah, but glass. It's true, metal is part of it. Glass, paper, plastic, and let's say cans. Yeah, cans can be recycled by making them into different objects with new purpose. Yeah, and we have seen that all of us have common household products that can be recycled, such as, but including, let's say, including food containers, drinks holders or drinks bottles. Can you tell me 2 more, just for the sake of the rhythm? We have seen that all of us have common household products that can be recycled, including food containers, drinks bottles, plastic bags, and so food containers is plastic, drinks bottles can be plastic or glass, plastic bags again is plastic, maybe something with cans. But let's not make it like drinks, cans. Is there another kind of can? And tin containers, shall we say? We've got food containers. You mean the meaning?
Because food containers, you mean where, like if I'm putting my food in the fridge or food containers?
No. The fridge is not a container, it's an appliance.
No, like before you put your food in the fridge, you put it in a container.
Yes.
Is those containers?
Yeah. Yeah. So, food? Yeah. Yeah. So food containers, household products that can be recycled, including food containers, drinks bottles, carry bags. Let's say carry bags, because yeah. So many of these things, if you say plastic bags, plastic bottles, then it all becomes plastic again. So we're trying to be wider. So food containers, drinks bottles, carry bags, and tin containers. The what? Carpets. Yeah, that is the, okay, no, but we are talking about products that can be recycled. So in this case, we're talking about food containers, such as some of them is made of plastic, some is made of da-da-da. Okay, so the other category is drinks bottles. So the bottles can be plastic, they can be glass, etc. So carry bags, they can be plastic carry bags, they can also be paper bags, etc. So now we are talking about it doesn't actually fit the same categorization. You see what I mean? We're talking about food containers, drinks bottles, carry bags, and no, but you see, I'm talking about purpose. Food containers, drink containers, drink bottles.
But the food containers not
bags.
including the tin or the plastic.
It does. That's the point. That's
Yeah.
the point. Yeah.
So then we should not come and say tin containers again. We must use another
We want another word.
example.
Yeah. So where else do we get these products? We
Storage containers.
Thank
Storage
you.
something.
Thank you. Yeah. So actually, carry bags is also a storage container, but it helps us to get another one. And storage containers. Okay. So here we have food containers, drinks bottles, carry bags, and storage and other carry bags and other storage containers. Okay. So you now this was now read. So let's do our bullets. This may have been more than 6. You see? Now we do this and then we fix it. Okay.
Marianina is saying, I think on AS level stage, learners should already know the basic concepts such as conservation, recycling, etc. Is it not more important to focus on new concepts that they need for AS level? So on the choosing of our objectives to put those things. Yes, because that's what my concern was also, that designing technology is a subject, I don't know about at primary, but it's on secondary they are doing it from grade 8.
It's very true, but then it should not be in the syllabus.
Yes, but I think for us, for the purpose of this video, in the choosing of our objectives, we always try to say that, we always not try, we always say we do the radio and video to help learners with the difficult parts in the syllabus, which is difficult for them to grasp and to understand.
Then
So
you should
there's just
change
a
it.
caution to the choice, to the content writers,
Yeah.
about the choice of the of the topic that they chosen and the specific objectives. Because since learners will have the design and technology, now example, design and technology will have that basic concept knowledge. So we don't choose that objective, you go to the ones that go a bit more onto the application level, I think, for AS. Just a general remark.
It is a very important point because this is going to cause huge problems. If it is in the syllabus, then and it's too basic, because assessment is based on the syllabus.
Yes, on AS level, they will be based with the knowledge, they need to have the basic knowledge. So in my understanding for an AS paper, although let me talk about subjects I know, although they will not go into detail about the basic accounting rules, they will be tested. They need to be able to apply it. So they will need to know the basics, but the level of testing is going to differ. They will not be asked, name
what is renewable resource?
Yeah, they might have to discuss, and they need to come up with an answer. For distinction, they need to have that basic knowledge that because it's a renewable resource, this and this and this.
Yeah.
But they will not, I don't think they will be asked to find renewable resources.
Okay. Okay, so in other words, maybe when you are selecting your lessons, maybe you will not select this lesson because this is the content for this lesson and this is not difficult content. So maybe you will select another content.
Good.
Maybe just go to the objective that is more about the application part. Maybe just taking the importance instead of basic concept, but start off with the importance of conservation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It will differ from, this is not just an example.
Yeah.
It will most differ from subject to subject. And you look at your syllabus requirement. I mean, I always find the history the most difficult one. Because they have the basic objectives or the learning objectives of all this theory. And when they go test the learners, they give them a cartoon. Yeah. And they need to recall all that theoretical information to be able to answer this that question. 30 marks or 15 marks.
For that cartoon.
Yeah, cartoon.
Yeah. So a lot of thinking needs to go into the content that you're going to do. Let's try to turn this into 6 by 6. Natural resources are, okay, so now you're saying we're not going to do that.
No, this is an example.
Okay, sure, all right. Okay, natural resources are, so obviously it's going to be hard, but no, natural resources are in the environment, let's say, are part of the environment or come from the environment, yeah? Something like that. Renewable resources can be replenished. Something like that. Non-renewable resources are limited, let's say. Are and not replaceable. Okay, so you might have to limit it. You might do this to save a word there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Finite use means limited. Infinite use. Infinite use means infinite means abundant, means abundant, means unlimited. Infinite means, that's right, means unlimited. Okay? It's important to look after our environment. So you're saying it on this side. It's important to look after environment because, and we can just start there. We have to keep our environment clean and clean. We have to keep our environment clean. We must keep it safe. We have seen that glass, paper, plastic. So you have 6 bullets, then you go to a new screen to continue the summary. We have seen that glass, okay, so this is where you just start with. Glass, paper, plastic, and cans can be recycled. Okay? Glass, paper, plastic, and cans. So you can say recycle, glass, paper, plastic, and cans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see that all of us have a common household. Recycle, common household things like recycle food containers, drinks bottles, carry bags, and other recycle food containers, drinks, bottles, carry bags, storage containers. Yeah, it goes more here, so maybe you use another line under it. Okay. Okay. So applying the 6 by 6 rule, this is where you have. Okay. And see you again soon. Bye. Yeah, it looks like 6. I'll just make sure now. It's past 1. Okay. Okay, and there's the graphics. It made sense that we go through and not continue on again later with the same. Okay. Fight with grades. See you again bye, or whatever other greeting you have. Okay. So if you want it, if you find it useful, we could use this as a template. But you don't want all this stuff there. But hopefully it was useful for you to go through this tedious and very difficult exercise, but hopefully it gives you some ideas when you are doing it. Okay, let's go for lunch and come back at 2. Thank you. Online guys, we see you at 2 until 3. We'll finish at 3. What time 3. Okay. All right. Thanks for warning me.